Hi guys, welcome to Hope with Jonathan podcast. And on this podcast, we will share the patient's personal story with battling kidney disease, dialysis, transplant, and more. Guys, we'll also share stories of hope and encouragement for those that are in need of a living kidney donor. We will also advocate for them, a living donor, to step forward to give them the miracle gift of life of transplant. Guys, based upon my personal near-death experience with kidney disease, I started this streaming show called Hope with Jonathan, and also this podcast, Hope with Jonathan Podcast. Guys, if you want to hear more stories like this, please stay tuned. Hope with Jonathan podcast is a Hope Media production. Never let hope become a memory. Hope with Jonathan podcast is a Hope Media production. Hope with Jonathan podcast is in collaboration with Impact America Media, where we give hope to patients to continue on, stay motivated, inspire, and encourage them to continue in the journey. For more information on Impact America Media, please visit impactamericamedia.com. Again, Hope with Jonathan podcast is in collaboration with Impact America Media. Hey guys, this is Jonathan, the host of the Hope with Jonathan podcast. And hey guys, Hope with Jonathan now has a website, www.hopewithjonathan.com, where you can go over and find out where to follow us on all of our social media links, our podcast, our YouTube channel, and much more. Again, guys, for more information on Hope with Jonathan, you can go to www.hopewithjonathan.com. Hey guys, welcome back to the Hope with Jonathan podcast, and I'm your host, Jonathan Traylor. Hey guys, I appreciate all the support for Hope with Jonathan and all the feedback and all the commenting for Hope with Jonathan and what we're doing with Hope with Jonathan and the Hope with Jonathan podcast. If you've tuned in, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. We'd love for you to go over and subscribe to us over on the Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We're pretty much streaming everywhere. If you're interested at all, you can go over and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Hope with Jonathan. And also, guys, we have a brand new website that we're developing, www.hopewithjonathan.com. You can go over and check that out. You can, subscribe to the YouTube channel there. You can watch videos over there, interviews that we've done with kidney warriors. You can also listen to our podcast over there as well. We have that streaming over there. and it's real easy to access. Again, that's hopewithjonathan.com. So I definitely appreciate everyone's support. It's been an amazing journey, and we're going to continue try to bring awareness, inspire others, motivate others through the power of sharing our story and through the power of hope. Guys, again, I want to let you guys know that we got some great interviews still ahead, some great things coming. We're also going to be dabbling into the educational side of things, trying to get some nephrologists on the show, also some dietitians to come on and kind of give us some education and more of a prevention aspect of kidney disease. So I do think that's important as well to share, so that we're going to get involved with that as well. But with that being said, I wanted to come on and kind of give you guys this podcast here. It's kind of a bonus podcast on a blog that I just recently wrote that you guys can go check out over at www.kidneytrails.com. The blog that I wrote is about dialysis, and it's actually titled Dialysis Home or in Center. And I want you guys to know that I wrote this based upon my personal experience with doing dialysis. So this isn't in any way, shape, or form medical advice, nor is it telling you guys what you should do personally. This is more about, trying to get you to understand the reasons why that I chose to do hemodialysis and why I chose to do home dialysis. And if you get more into my story, you'll understand kind of why I wrote the blog and the reason why that I wrote the blog. But guys, I want you guys to go over and check it out at www.kidneytrails.com. This blog that I wrote, I think, is a special one and informative, because what it does is it lets people know, gives them more of an education that there is the option of doing home dialysis if you want to. You just got to be, cleared to be able to do it. Talk about it with your team, and also talk about it with your family and find out if that's the best option for you. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. So first of all, I want to give you guys a little bit of information in the blog about dialysis. If you're out there listening and you're wondering, what exactly dialysis is. So according to Wikipedia, this is what is said according to them. But in medicine, dialysis is the process of removing excess water, solutes, and toxins from the blood in people whose kidneys can no longer perform these functions naturally. This is referred to as renal placement therapy. The first successful dialysis was performed in 1943. So 1943, guys, check that out. And forgive me, sometimes I kind of stumble over my words, but that's all right. We're gonna continue. But so check that out, guys. 1943, the first successful dialysis was performed in 1943. That's amazing. That was a long time ago. If my math is correct, what is that? Like 80 years, getting close to. So it's like 79, somewhere around there, 78. That's a lot of years of doing dialysis, and and I think we've advanced and came a long way. Since then, we've had some great medical advancements. And we've seen a lot of things that have come along that has, really brought the world of dialysis into the, more of a futuristic. We're seeing, more and more advances in it. I'm sure, and as we continue to grow, with modern technology and things like this, we're going to continue to see advancements in not only dialysis, but the way that kidney disease is treated. Also, the development also of AI, artificial intelligence, and things like that, and artificial kidneys and all this type of stuff. We're seeing more and more advancements in it. We're not there yet, but we're seeing more advancements. That's a whole nother subject that I did not really want to get into, but I kind of stumbled across. But anyway, guys, you can go over and read the rest of this blog over at www.kidneytrails.com. And I'm really super excited about doing these blogs. Let me tell you why. These blogs are very, very therapeutic. A lot of times, you think that you have these ideals, or maybe you have things and thoughts about things, and then you realize later on that, you wish you had a way to express those thoughts, or maybe you want to talk about a subject, or maybe you had an ideal about a subject and you want to get it off your chest, but you really don't know how to. And sometimes, social media is not the way. So the best way to express that is to get into writing a blog. And I really enjoy writing these blogs for kidneytrails.com. I've wrote about 4 of these now. And all of those blogs are over there at www.kidneytrails.com. So please go check them out. But a little bit about dialysis. So I want to let you guys know, dialysis is, what can we say about it? Honestly, it's not an easy lifestyle. It's not an easy form of treatment. It's definitely not for the faint of heart. It can be scary. And guys, listen, doesn't matter which one that you choose, whether it's hemodialysis, peritoneal dialysis, if you do home dialysis, which peritoneal is home dialysis, but if you do home hemodialysis, it doesn't matter. A life living on dialysis is definitely not an easy one. And there's lots of ups and downs with it. I remember when I did dialysis, my first couple of treatments, of course, my situation is a little bit different because I was an emergency case, and I basically came to, in the ICU with a central line, an IJ in my neck that they had to put in, to be able to administer emergency dialysis. So, I wasn't one of the typical patients. My vascular surgeon told me, and my nephrologist, they all told me I did everything backwards. And honestly, I did, because I wasn't seeing a nephrologist on a regular basis, and I wasn't seeing doctors on a regular basis. Like I said, many of you know my personal story, but honestly, I just, the types of jobs that I was working and things like this, I did not have insurance, had a fear of doctors, anxiety, white coat syndrome, whatever you want to call it. It caused me issues to not even want to go see a doctor. I honestly thought this stuff was going to go away. I was going to get better on my own. And I was lying to myself. I was in a state of denial. And, but waking up in the ICU, having to do dialysis and waking up on a machine was a total head spin and life altering. And you can only imagine. I had no idea about kidney disease and the effects of kidney disease. And I had no idea about dialysis. And I had no idea about the effects of dialysis, and the low blood pressure, and the sticking of the needles, and and the nausea, and the chronic fatigue, and just everything that went with it. The ups and downs, the napping, this all of it, and the renal diet. I had no education on this stuff whatsoever. So, doing dialysis for me, I just wasn't a typical case where a nephrologist was saying, okay, it's time for you to get to fistula because your labs are looking bad. No, I didn't have time to prepare for anything. And there was nothing offered to me. I woke up literally in the ICU with a line in my neck. I was doing hemodialysis, whether I liked it or not. And so, my case is a little bit different. The typical kidney patient is, seeing a nephrologist on a routine basis. They're going over their labs. They're getting the patient prepared for either, and this is what I'm hoping that most nephrologists are doing, is giving you the options, because from stories that I'm hearing, a lot of patients are kind of pushed toward hemodialysis. And, there are options such as peritoneal dialysis, where they, put the tube into the peritoneal cavity in the abdomen. And I can't really go into a lot of detail on that. I do know a little bit about it. I know there's some manual exchanges, and then there's machine time and things like that. I know that you hang bags and they use dialysate, much like sort of like hemo, but it's a whole different process, and it's a whole different ball of wax that I really can't comment on. My blog and the purpose of this podcast is more about my personal experience. And so, but doing hopefully that when patients are being talked to in office settings, that they're getting discussed with and told about the options of dialysis. But I feel like that most of the doctors, nephrologists, are pushing patients literally toward hemo, especially in an emergency case. You basically have no other choice. You have to do hemo at the beginning. Now, I'm going to get into a little bit more into the podcast about the reasons why I chose what I ended up choosing. But my blog over at www.kidneytrails.com will tell you, sort of, more of an explanation on why I chose what I chose to do. But, honestly, guys, I wasn't your typical patient. I wasn't following up with a nephrologist, and hopefully, like I said, they're going over the options with patients, but there are options out there. So if you're going to a nephrologist and they're trying to push you toward, just hemodialysis and getting you prepared for a fistula, make sure that they're talking to you also about, well, hey, we just want to let you know that you can also do this at home. You can do home hemodialysis, or there is peritoneal dialysis. And anytime you hear the PD, that is peritoneal dialysis, just to let you know. And you can easily Google search any of these terms and look it up and find out more information on it. But what I want to tell you guys is after I went in center for a few months and I was in center, I thought literally after, I went through doing, dialysis there in center for a couple of months, I thought literally like, okay, this is it. Like, I'm stuck doing this. And literally I had lost my Saturdays. I was on the TTS schedule, which that schedule was chose for me. TTS stands for Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And that schedule was chose for me. That was my chair time. That was selected for me. And, I enjoyed my Saturdays with my family, and I enjoyed doing things with them. And literally, I didn't have a choice in the matter. Like, I had to take the selected time that was offered to me, and that was it. And literally, I noticed after about 3 months, I was already had experienced a near-death experience. I had already experienced, all of a sudden I'm having to do dialysis and I can't eat this or that. I'm following a renal diet. I'm having all these side effects. I started noticing I was getting depressed, thinking that I was locked into this, this gridlock schedule of like, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, no matter what, I had to be there, couldn't miss. This was my lifeline to continue to stay alive and continue fighting until transplant. But honestly, I was like, man, is this really it? Like, is this really what I'm going to be doing until I finally get a transplant? And to be honest with you, I didn't know anything about transplant or anything like that, and it wasn't brought up until probably about 5 or 6 months in center. Finally, the nephrologist that was on staff there, she finally brought it up, and then they came to me and said, hey, we would like to send you to, go get evaluated to be put on the transplant list. So again, guys, this is why I'm so adamant about doing podcasts and live streams and becoming involved with nonprofit organizations and all this stuff, AAKP, AKF, NKF, Kidney Solutions, I mean, you name it. I'm trying to be involved in as many kidney nonprofits as I can, because there needs to be so many things addressed, within the kidney community. But honestly, guys, listen, over at www.kidneytrails.com, you can read more on this blog and why I address, picking the choice that I did, and the reasons why I did. I hope you guys will take the opportunity to go over. It's not a very long read at all. You can go over there and read it probably within about 20 minutes. I've also got some, interesting photos to go along with this blog that I wrote. But it's really been a joy to write these blogs. Again, they're just, very therapeutic, and I've really enjoyed being a part of kidneytrails.com. But guys, again, I want to let you know, again, please, if you're considering doing dialysis, or your nephrologist is pushing you toward telling you, hey, look, you're going to need to do dialysis, please consider and weigh out the options. Like I said, there's peritoneal dialysis, which is home dialysis. There's home hemodialysis, and there's in-center hemodialysis. And I'm not trying to tell anyone that comes across this podcast to do either or any of these three different choices. What I'm trying to tell you, and in no way, shape, or form am I trying to give you any medical advice. I'm just telling you what happened with me and my experience. Some people go to in-center and they love it, and that's what they want to do, and that's what they have to do, and they can handle in-center. Some people like peritoneal dialysis. Their body can handle peritoneal dialysis. They do well on peritoneal dialysis. Their labs reflect well from peritoneal dialysis. And then others choose to do home hemodialysis. And if you can handle it and your body can sustain it and your labs are good and all that, and you're comfortable with it and you can handle it, then it, by all means, you should consider it. But go over and check out this blog, and it will let you know exactly the reasons why I chose to do what I chose to do. And I will go ahead and give you guys a preview. Yes, I ended up choosing to do home hemodialysis. And but you can go over, like I said, and check out the blog, and it will go into more detail about why I chose to do home hemodialysis. Listen, it was not easy. It wasn't for, it's not for the faint of heart. I had boxes everywhere in this, in my 3-bedroom, 2-bath apartment that we live in. I'm telling you, my first delivery was like 74 boxes. And so, if you do consider doing home dialysis, you got to know the details. You got to have all your ducks in a row, so to speak, and you got to have appropriate measures taken. You got to have appropriate size room and an area dedicated for it. And you've got to have room for the boxes and the machine, and you got to have a sterile environment as well. And there's many different regulations and rules and things that you have to follow, and guidelines that you have to follow to be sterile and as sterile as possible. And it's not easy. You have to be willing to learn, listen, and get educated. And if that's not for you, then you probably would do best and do better in the in-center environment. For me, the in-center environment became I've literally felt at some point that I was really becoming like a prisoner in the TTS schedule. It was just like mind-blowing to me that I wasn't never going to get my Saturdays back again. Literally, that's how I felt. And, like I said, I started feeling more depressed, considering everything that I went through. And then now, I realized reality had kind of dropped in, like, hey, I'm stuck like this. And, there was things that I needed to address, such as travel, things like that. I couldn't travel, and there was just all kind of issues. So honestly, the thought of doing this, like this, I thought, look, if I'm going to do dialysis, it's going to be on my terms. And it's going to be on the way that I wanted to do it. Frank Sinatra said it best in the song when he said, I did it my way. And literally, that's what I set my mind to do. And when home dialysis was offered to me, I took advantage of it. And I wanted to learn as much as I could. And so I'm telling you out there, as a kidney patient, that you have rights, you have options, and you need to look into those options. You need to make sure that those are offered to you. And, like I said, if you're comfortable with home dialysis and you can do it, then by all means, try to do home dialysis. If not, and, in-center is the way that you want to go and you want to let them handle everything and you're comfortable with that schedule, then by all means, stay in center. Like I said, this isn't medical advice. I'm only telling you what I experienced, and that's all I can do is give you my point of view and my experience. But again, guys, if you want more information on this and you want to know about a little bit more about my story, go over and check out this brand new blog that I've written. This is just a quick little bonus podcast for you guys to listen to. Hey guys, y'all take care out there, okay? Remember to stay safe, and remember also to take care of your kidneys. God bless. This is Jonathan. KidneyTrails.com. Kidney Trails is an organization that is dedicated to helping those that may be facing kidney disease by education, inspiration, and motivation, by bringing real-life experience from those that have traveled the road of kidney disease, and also information from the medical professionals to help you on your journey. Guys, Kidney Trails offers blog writings from many different writers and authors who give an aspect and real life experiences with battling kidney disease, dialysis, transplant, and more. Guys, KidneyTrails.com has videos. They also offer a podcast called the Kidney Trails Podcast. And soon to be released, a comic book is coming out. Guys, for more information on this, go to www.kidneytrails.com. Hey guys, go over to www.kidneywarriormerch.com. Submit your story today and get a shot at being the Warrior of the Month. If you're selected as the Warrior of the Month, you'll get a chance to interview with Hope with Jonathan podcast. Whether you're a kidney warrior, kidney dialysis patient, or even a kidney transplant patient, or maybe you've just been diagnosed with kidney disease, go over to www.kidneywarriormerch.com and submit your story today. Kidney Warrior Merch is a supporter of Hope with Jonathan podcast. Again, guys, that's www.kidneywarriormerch.com. Hey guys, thanks again for joining us on the Hope with Jonathan podcast. Again, guys, please go check out my blog at www.kidneytrails.com. Again, guys, we also have a podcast and a YouTube channel that you can check out and subscribe to over at www.hopewithjonathan.com. I hope you guys found that this podcast was a little bit informing for you, enough to go over and check out the blog at kidneytrails.com. And I really appreciate everybody tuning in to the podcast. Again, guys, I do this from the bottom of my heart, and I really enjoy this. Really enjoy all the feedback that I'm getting and all of the support. Hey guys, if you feel like you want to contribute at all to what we're doing with hopewithjonathan.com, Hope with Jonathan Live, the Hope with Jonathan podcast, everything that we're doing by sharing warrior stories. These things do cost some premium subscriptions and things like that. And if you want to help out and kind of contribute to what we're doing to help cover some of the costs and expenses on our end, you can do so by clicking on the donate on the website. You can also contribute and become a partner or supporter by contributing by way of Patreon. It's all on there on the website at hopewithjonathan.com. There's also a listener support that you can do right from the podcast here. So if you would, if you feel led or compelled that you'd like to help out, let me know. You can also message me to find out more ways on how to contribute to Hope with Jonathan. But hey guys, until the next time, look out for more great interviews and more great events. Again, guys, for the whole month of June, we're going to be interviewing patients in need and sharing warrior story. I'm co-hosting and teaming up with my good friend Philip Jones Jr. from Los Angeles, California. And so we're going to be interviewing patients in need, and it's going to be all month over at A Second Chance over on YouTube. So please, guys, go check it out. We're going to be doing this all month long for 4 Sundays. And then I actually have 2 interviews scheduled in the month of June as well on Hope with Jonathan. There may even be more. So guys, just please stay tuned for more great stuff coming from Hope with Jonathan and the Hope with Jonathan podcast. Guys, I appreciate it. You guys stay safe out there. Again, guys, take care of yourself and take care of your kidneys. God bless.